Hello, good morning. Okay, good afternoon, everyone from wherever you are joining me from. How are you doing? Today is Saturday, 29th of November 2025. How are you doing today? Did you attend any one day, or are you at any one day, or you are planning to go later? So how has it been? We are also in the heart of the application season. Of course, we are for Erasmus. Chevening has closed. Erasmus is on the, you are in between. Some will be closing by December and then ending January, February. So, and some will still be opening in maybe December 1st, January and the likes. And this is one of them, right? So, today, of course, you already know a little bit of why we are here to know how to position to win the Türkiye scholarship, right? So there's someone in the studio with me that I'm so glad to introduce to you. And before that, I just want to welcome everyone to Beyond Borders podcast, the platform where we help you discover global opportunities, position yourself for success, and build a life of impact beyond borders. So we are just pushing that your border, wherever you are coming from, does not determine how long or how far you can go, right? So, and today I am incredibly excited to have a guest with us today. And his journey is a masterclass in intentionality, academic excellence, and global mobility. Since I knew him, we actually attended the same. Let me just share this with you. We attended the same university, of course. His name is Godswill. He's a very intentional person, very um, keen to academic excellence, right? You will hear from his journey. And so you can see, I think we've shared this all over social media, so you already know a bit of his background. So joining me today, without further ado, is Godswill, who is a Türkiye Bursları Scholar, an Erasmus Plus awardee. He's a first-class graduate of the University of Ibadan. Yes, the first and the best. And then a researcher in agricultural, biotechnology, and sustainable livestock systems, and then a passionate advocate for SDG 2 and 3. And before we dive in, please don't forget to like this live stream, share with someone who needs scholarship clarity, and of course, subscribe so you never miss an episode. So please, right now, with a round of applause, help me welcome the one and only God's will. Yay!
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I hope you're all doing well. So, my name, as you know, is Godswill, and I'm studying in Turkey through the Türkiye Bursları Scholarships. Firstly, I started my master's in University in Turkey, where I was done about a year ago or 6 months ago, I don't know. And then I continued. By the grace of God, I was rewarded again with. I was awarded again with a scholarship, um, and I continued my doctoral academics.
Okay.
Work also in Turkey in Eskişehir Osman Gazi University. That's another city in Turkey. So
Awesome.
yeah,
Okay.
uh, uh, it's nice to be here, and I think you're doing a good work, Rustin.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So before we start into the gym questions, right? Before we start going into the questions, I want to ask you one of my favorite icebreaker question before we now start rolling in other things. So if your journey so far was a book, what would the title be and why?
The Nigerian spirit.
Why?
Yeah,
I
I
love
am
it.
proud to be a Nigerian,
Mm-hmm.
and I think Nigerians are underrated. I think we are kind of, if I could embody or if I could express the Nigeria's spirit, I could find it in every part of the world. Like in every tribe, in every society in Nigeria, we have resilience, we have determination, we have some things, like there's some of these characteristics that we don't usually find in other regions of the world, but we have them as Nigerians. And it's just so natural. And I don't know if it's because of where we grew up in or the situations we grew up in, but then we still, even the rich people are still hustling. You can even imagine, yeah, that Nigerian spirit doesn't just encompass um, um, just the people who want to have a better life, even those with a better life, keep on working. Like they keep on, they want to make themselves proud, they want to make their families proud, they want to make a mark in the world. Yeah, and I think it's worthy of note. You know,
Mm.
it's not really easy to be a Nigerian, especially in these times. Um, even
Mm.
when there sometimes we are sad about what's happening in our countries. Even when you go abroad or travel abroad, you still find some, some negative. How would I put it? Um, maybe effects of
Yeah.
what's happening around you. Some racist ideas, some superiority complexes from other people and all that. But then with the Nigerian spirit in you, you tend to surmount those things and still make waves in the world. Look at the best doctors in the world. We have Nigerians there. Look at scientists. Look at computer. In fact, Microsoft was, I think, part of those who made it success was Nigerian. The doctor who performed the first, Siamese twins were separation
Separation.
was Nigerian. Like you find lots of doctors, lots of important personalities in the world making waves from Nigeria. So I think
Awesome.
it's worthy of note.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. So thank you so much for that. The Nigerian spirit. Awesome. That's good. I love the title of this of the book. It will be an interesting one for sure. Okay. So
Yeah,
start telling us chapter by chapter, but we won't go into that today. And
yeah.
yeah, shout out to Ejiofor Kingsley. Looks like you are number one to comment. Exactly, you are. And if you don't mind, you can just let me know where you are joining from. And of course, you can also share with people who you know will benefit from this conversation, right? So, because of our time, let's quickly move into our first one, and it is just to um, begin with your story, right? Many people only see the result, not the process, right? And then just briefly share your journey from the University of Ibadan to winning the Türkiye Bursları scholarship and later the Erasmus scholarship, right? Erasmus Plus scholarship, right?
Okay. Okay. First of all, just to be very brief, the first time I tried to apply for Turkey Bursary scholarship was my 500 level, if I'm not mistaken. I initially applied, but just I had just learned about that there are some international scholarships that you can apply for from listening, overhearing people, and nobody really came to tell us, oh, you should apply for this particular one, this particular one. But then there was a lecturer in my department who picked out some very top scoring students and introduced us. First, I think it was the Israel government scholarship funded by FAO and Israel government, but unfortunately I didn't get it. But then he kind of, I think that was the first, that was the reason I got my passport, my international passport. So because of that application, so that was the first person, first lecturer that introduced some of the top scoring students to the idea of scholarship, international scholarship. And so from there, I just took up the mantle. I said, okay, maybe I could find some other scholarship for myself to apply for. But then, unfortunately, I didn't get the scholarship of that year because I was still in the final year, and then I didn't know much. I didn't know anything about the scholarship really. I just applied as much as I could. But then I received a love letter from the scholarship. But then during my service year, I was hesitant to reapply. I think I even applied on the last day of the scholarship.
Wow.
I was just thinking that if I, because I'm very risk averse. If you know me very well, I don't initially just jump into something. I have to think about it and plan. So since they gave me a rejection in the previous year, I was a little bit hesitant to apply again. But then after so much thinking, prayers, and encouraging myself, because I'm my greatest motivator, I decided to apply again. And then I thought to myself, what were the mistakes I made? Because no one to actually show me these mistakes. So I looked at it more deeply, right? I
Mm.
looked at my application more deeply. What were the things I didn't put in the previous application I could put in the present application at that time?
Yeah.
So I discovered that maybe I didn't write a research proposal. I didn't really get good recommendations. I just got one or so recommendations from previous lecturer, and yeah. So basically, I focused then on those. I already had a proposal because I was also trying to apply for other different scholarships. So I decided to tweak it a little bit and write it. I think it was 2021. So
Yeah.
I submitted this application, and then uh, I was invited for the interview. And
Wow.
already, when I was invited for the interview, I already started my master's in uh, University of Ibadan as a scholarship resident, also as a first class student. We
Yeah.
had a scholarship provision for those who wanted to continue. And
Mm.
so after the interviews, I went to Abuja for the interviews, and defended my stance and tried to defend my research, what I wanted to do and why I wanted to do it. And it was in the first semester at University of Ibadan. I got the acceptance letter from Türkiye Bursları that I was awarded. I was so happy. So I already had a master's I was doing, but then I had to leave it, defer the admission from the University of Ibadan, and then I started in Turkey. So from there, I used the opportunities I had encountered in Turkey during my masters, where I applied to the Erasmus Plus, funded by European Union,
Yeah.
with collaboration with universities. So it's an opportunity for students to travel out of the Turkey to maybe have a semester, carry out a semester in other countries or in other universities in Europe, and even outside of Europe, right?
Yeah.
And then also for internship, you can also do internships. You apply for
Yes.
internships to our companies or even universities in outside Turkey. So I also maximized this opportunity, and then I was awarded this scholarship also. And then after that, after the masters has ended, also another question: what could I do? Where do I go? So I applied for different scholarships still, and I also received love letters. So some people will think that, oh, these scholarship people don't receive love letters, they don't receive rejections. Maybe they are always better than us. No. So just to debunk that idea that those who have scholarships before don't receive rejections, or they are so good that they are not rejected for any application. No, it's not true. We receive, and then when we even receive it, we've grown a tough skin to it because we always receive a lot of it. But then a new applicant might receive a letter, just like when I received the first time, and then we'll be so discouraged
Mm.
that you will just, but then you don't need to be, you need to motivate yourself and just do what I did. Look at your previous application, what could be different in the next
Yeah.
one. That
Yeah.
is so important. And then
Mm.
nowadays, people are talking more about it. You have provisions for different scholarship, different WhatsApp groups, different Telegram groups. I mean, so many of them, right? So you have now opportunities to get knowledge, pre-informed knowledge before application, so that you don't make the mistakes, even as a first-time applicant,
Yeah.
right? So this is very important. That this is why this interview is so good, because you already have, before you make those mistakes, you don't need to wait to reapply again, right? You can just do the right thing in the first application. So
Yeah.
fortunately for me, I was awarded again the scholarship. it was in fact it is tougher for someone who has studied in Turkey before to get another scholarship. I think also this is another. People also think that it is easy. Oh, you studied in Turkey before under the scholarship, so yeah, they should give you again. No, the fact that you have finished the first one, you have ended the scholarship agreement, so you need to apply again as a new applicants with the
Yeah.
same rights as other people, right?
Yeah.
So it means that they expect more from you
Of
because
course.
they have given you a first trial. You have more experience than someone who is in Nigeria. That is your advantage, or that's
Yeah.
your advantage. But if you cannot use the advantage, they won't give to you because one, you cannot speak the language. After 2 years of staying here, why should we give you? Some students don't even know how to speak the Turkish. They don't want to learn it, or it's not important for them. Oh, you didn't get good scores. Because as
Mm.
a Turkish student and you're learning in Turkish, it is more difficult because you need to learn in Turkish, not English. You write your
Mm.
exams in Turkish.
Wow.
So if you are doing a Turkish course, given course, but if you're doing an English given course, you write in English. But
Oh.
majority of the courses is in Turkish, right? So if you don't pass your exam because it's so difficult, so it means you have to work even harder than the average student. So you must
Mm-hmm.
get a good CGPA so that you
Yeah.
can, if you want to apply for other scholarship again, they can easily. Oh, he works so hard. So this is a point that students need to take note of. If they're given an
Awesome.
opportunity in the first time, much more is required. I think there's a saying that says, to whom more is given, much more is
Much
expected.
more.
It's so
Exactly.
true. It's so
Exactly.
true. Yeah, it's so true. Because you need to prove that what we gave you before, you use it rightly, and then
Mm.
we are capable of giving you a new one. Yeah,
Awesome.
so I applied
Awesome.
to many scholarships.
Yeah.
This time around, not as many as I did when I was in masters, but then I applied to a few in Europe and also in Turkey. Unfortunately, I didn't get the ones in Europe, but then
Mm.
I got the one in Turkey, and I decided to continue in Turkey.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. Congratulations. And I
Thank
actually
you.
love what from the journey from University of Ibadan, like 500 level. At 500 level, I don't think I was actually thinking about applying for scholarship. I remember I actually went to one or two. As you said, it's not so pronounced as it is now,
Yeah,
and I think that's why
yeah,
people also need to buckle up because of this new information everywhere. It is now also very very that
yeah.
so you don't have a lot of margin of error at all at all. What you could get away with during that time is no more here because there are super,
Yeah.
like there are people that have
Even
stellar
better. They have
point.
better applications than
Exactly.
you have.
So yeah.
Yeah.
And yes, just to shout out, Ajewole Josephine is here listening. Say glad to be here. Good to hear from Scholar Godswill. So just Josephine now.
Yeah, yeah, nah, why not?
And my super brother, Mr. Oladeji Oluwanishola. Thank you so much, sir. Big shout out to our guests. Thank you. They are shouting out to you. He said he loves the
Thank
Nigerian spirit.
you.
Yeah, thank you so
Yeah.
much. I really appreciate. All right, so to move to section two, which I think will share some screen where you just explained to demystify the Türkiye scholarship, because many applicants think Türkiye scholarships are almost impossible to get. So we have to clear that up right now. So what was your experience like and what helped you to stand out? I think I'll just read out the question here so you can go into your presentation.
Okay.
He has something stellar
Okay.
to do for it. And then for someone applying this year, what does a strong Tokyo scholarship application look like? And then what are the biggest mistake African applicants make and how they can avoid them? So I think I should just go into the presentation.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah. So I just in the next 10 minutes I could present this to you. I made this so as to make it a little bit visual. What I'm saying. So Turkey Bursları Scholarship is a scholarship that is given by the residency for Turks and foreigners, from abroad. It's a ministry on its own. And yeah, if you could go to the previous slide.
Okay.
Yeah. So why do we? What is the benefit of Türkiye Bursları? Yeah, Türkiye Bursları is usually known as one of the most comprehensive scholarships in the world because what they only need you to do is to just come and study, right? You're not going to be thinking about accommodation. You're going to be thinking about your flight ticket. You're going to be thinking about what to eat. In the accommodation in dormitories, you're given food twice a day if you're staying in dormitories. If you're not staying in dormitory, they give you some money for accommodation outside. So it's not, like I say, it's not a scholarship that requires you to focus on other things apart from your apart from your study, right?
Mm,
So, and of course, Turkey. Why Turkey? Because it's a very beautiful country. Because I think I love the historical context of Turkey because I always feel part of history. Like living in Turkey, I feel that I'm part of history. I think that was one of my motivations because a lot of generations have passed through Turkey, like a lot of civilizations per se. So I'm
mm,
always like, oh, I'm part of the civilization, the present one. Yes, and then you can always learn a new language. It's also beneficial. It opens up there. Apart from the fact that you're learning a second language, there is something that learning a second language does to your brain. It expands it. Like you tend to think even deeper. You tend to think more. Right. You tend to understand cultures. You tend to be more open to different cultures. So apart from the academic part, also about the life general life. So this is, if you go to the website of Turkey Scholarship, you will see all these. These are the benefits you get as a Turkey's bursary student. And the application calendar usually starts in January, right, and ends in February, right. It's usually a month, just a
mm.
month to put in your application. That's why you have to prepare beforehand. I think this
Exactly.
is one of the mistakes that people make. They only prepare when it is the January. So when it's open, no, this is a Turkey scenario. Okay, let me work on my application. What's that? No, you have to prepare for at least a month before. Right?
Mm,
Okay, what am I going to write? And that's why you can open up the account. If you go to the website, you also see how to open up the account. You open up an account, you look at, oh, what are the things I have to fill in? What are the requirements? I have to get international passport if I don't have. Okay, I have to get my certificates ready. I have to get my transcripts ready if I don't have, because these are the initial evaluation. These are things that will be used in the initial evaluation. So if
mm,
you're usually in the initial evaluation, if your documents are not complete, the system automatically kicks you out. It has been structured in such a way that the system automatically, because there is a place you didn't fill up, right? Or there is an important detail you didn't put, which could be used for your further evaluation, right? So evaluation process is usually very long. I think this is one of the, and that's why when you apply for Türkiye Bursları, you also advise to apply for other scholarships and not put all your eggs in one basket, because
mhm,
it starts from March and it ends somewhere around August, right, before you get the final verdict, right?
mm,
So it's kind of a long time. So yeah, generally we have other scholarships. So some people think it's only the Türkiye Bursları. So that's why you need to, when you go into the system, you will see other available scholarships, maybe
yeah.
like the Success Scholarship for
Mm,
students who are in Turkey without funding of their own. They can apply if they meet the requirements, high
mm,
scores and all that. There's also research scholarships for those who are already maybe researchers in Nigeria. You can apply for research scholarship. That is, you just need to do your research in Turkey, right? And they
mm.
also, yeah, you get. So even
Interesting.
if you don't meet up with the normal government, the one everyone knows, you can apply for the research scholarship, which is, I don't think many people know about this one
Yeah.
because because they only focus on one. Yeah. We
Yes.
also have the Outstanding Achievement Scholarship. Like, for example, I can also apply for the Outstanding Achievement Scholarships. Even when applying for the Türkiye Bursları, you can, in the same application, apply for Outstanding achievement scholarship. It means they will give you twice the amount of
Wow.
your stipend. Yes. So and then if you for example you have IELTS,
Yes.
if you have good research research capabilities, if there are some criteria for it actually.
Mm,
There are some
mm,
criteria. So if in the application, the last part of the applications, there's usually a checkbox that says, do you want to be considered for research, sorry, outstanding achievement scholarship and all that. So the same application you put for both will be used for both. Okay?
okay.
So it's quite easy, right? So and then there are also joint scholarships, like you see here, the one from ISDB, especially is worth taking note of. These other ones don't concern Nigeria, for example. NAMA is with the Indonesia, Thailand, and the other Eastern Asian countries. But the one I want to make note of is the ISDB, which is also the institution is covered the same as Türkiye Bursları. However, they give you more stipend money
Hmm.
for ISDB. It's higher than the average Türkiye Bursları. It is because it's a joint scholarship between the Islamic Bank,
Yeah.
right, Islamic Development Bank, and Türkiye Bursları. So the Muslim students among us, I advise you to apply. In fact, when you are applying for Türkiye Bursları, there's also a checkbox to ask, do you
Hmm.
consider applying for? So it's even quite easy.
Wow.
You don't need to do a separate application. They just
Exactly.
consider you for it, right? But then I also think that there is a, because I'm not an ISDB, right? Because I'm not a Muslim student,
Hmm.
so I think there is a separate kind of registration, in their website, but I'm not sure really. So that's why you need to, ask, go to the website to see the procedures. But I've always seen in the normal applications that if you want your application to be considered for ISDB, you can just tick it, yes.
Hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
But then you must meet the requirements. And then there are also Erasmus Plus, as a student, you can have other programs
Hmm.
that you can take advantage of because you have the same rights as a Turkish student. You can take advantage of Erasmus. You can take advantage of the different programs that the Turkey Bursary they also organize. They organize different activities like academic academy. They also organize camps. There are so many activities that you can
Hmm.
take advantage. So Turkey Bursary is such that they don't only focus on your academics. They also focus on all the extracurricular activities,
Wow.
sporting activities, conferences, which are also funded if you apply for them. Okay,
Wow.
and
Hmm.
then you also have the national internship and international internship programs. So there are other opportunities as a Turkey booster that you can take advantage of. And last year, these figures were given. In my time, I think we had about 100 and something, 160 something thousand application, and in Nigeria, only 44 people were selected out of those applications. Last
Wow.
year, 121,000 applicants from 170 countries applied, right? And Turkey government gives about 5,000 students every year scholarship.
Wow.
Yeah, so from every country, there's always a quota. From every
Yeah.
country, there's always a quota. So that's why your application must be top notch because you are not only competing with those in your country, you're also competing with the whole world, right?
Yeah.
So you're competing with the whole world and also with those in your country.
Hmm.
So it's important. And they'll just have a small quota for each country. I think that the success rate now was 4%, if I'm not mistaken. 4%, 54% success rate. So that's why you need to put in a very good application. And trust me, putting a good application, you have the opportunity. You can always have the opportunity for an interview. And if you do well in the interview, there's a high chance that you will get the scholarship.
Yeah.
Okay. So like I said, the 5 steps to applying, you first apply. They are there in the website. I think
Mhm.
I'll share the website to you. You can find the important. Why I'm giving you this information is that before you start applying for a scholarship, please try to read about the scholarship. What's it about? What
Mm-hmm.
are they expecting from you? Don't just go straight ahead to apply because others are applying. Because in the website, you have some tips already on how to win the scholarship. They give you free of charge these tips. What are the criteria? If you don't meet the criteria, there's something Nigerian we do. Okay, they will manage. We will pray about it. We'll pray about it. My dear, no matter how you pray, if you don't meet the criteria, you don't meet the criteria.
Mm.
Please try to meet the criteria, at least for the first evaluation stage. Okay?
Yeah.
It's important. If you don't meet the criteria, you have to find another scholarship that you meet the criteria for. And
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned we have different scholarships. We even have arts scholarship, arts student scholarship. So some people will say, oh, it's only for science students. No, there is art student scholarship also for Türkiye Bursları. So even if you're an art student in music, in whatever drama, whatever, you have a place, right? It's not like other scholarship that they don't maybe focus on only STEM. You have a place in Turkey. Okay.
Mm.
In fact, those you enjoy Turkey because Turkey has a lot of artistic stuffs going around. Yeah. So yeah, eligibility for different for bachelors, for masters, and for PhD is also on the website. What are the application criteria? The minimum academic achievement you should have is also written there, right?
Mm.
For example, as a bachelor student, you shouldn't have more or less than 2.5. So like here, minimum level of academic achievement for bachelor is 70%.
Mm-hmm.
So you must, if you are having 4.0, 75% of 4.0, if you calculate maybe 3.5 or
Yeah.
70% is probably 3.0, right?
Mm-hmm.
3.0 to 4.0. So around that age, 2.5 to 4.0, you shouldn't have less than that. If you have less than that, your application might not be strong enough to
Yeah.
compete with other people. Also for masters, it is 75%, right?
Mm.
To consider it for masters. And for PhD, it is 90%. So you can see PhD is much more difficult. It must be 90% of your top of students, okay, for you to even be considered for the scholarship. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then the required documents are also there, like your transcript, the general documents. We all know this. For all almost all scholarships, it's the same. They need your transcript, they need letter of references or recommendation. At least, I advise you should have at least two
Mm.
from someone. Maybe if you have a professional background, from your professional angle, from a professional angle and academic angle. If you don't have a professional background, it's okay. You can have two from two lecturers in your department. Maybe
Yeah.
from the head of the department is so good if you have from the head of the department, right? If the head of the department writes a recommendation letter for you, it's very good. And then maybe your supervisor.
Mm.
If you have done an internship in a place before, the person, the manager, or the lecturer, the professor you did internship with can write for you. But this letter must not be faked
Mm.
because trust me, even I myself, if I read a recommendation letter, I will know if it is fake. These guys have years and years and years of experience. You
Exactly.
cannot trick them.
Mm.
You cannot trick them. So they know which ones have been faked, which ones are actually from real sources.
Mm.
Okay, so you should try as much as possible to ensure that it is signed, wet signed. You should also try as much as possible to make sure that what is written there is corresponding to what you have written or put in the application. So you
Mm.
cannot say I did a internship in one place and then you are bringing a letter from another place. It doesn't really correspond, right?
Yeah.
So just the evaluation steps, I said it's quite long. Preliminary assessment, what you've put on the system will be done. If it doesn't match, it's automatic rejection. And then
Mm.
after that, expert evaluation, right? And then you have for tests and interviews, usually
Yeah.
done at the same time. For undergraduates, you have tests and also interview. So you must prepare for tests like mathematics tests, English tests. And
Yeah.
for masters, they don't have tests. Masters and PhD don't have tests. All they have is interview. And the interview, they want to know the knowledge you have about Turkey, the knowledge you have about your department or course of study, intended course of study. They want to also know what your intentions are, why you choose Turkey, why you want to study what you want to study, right? They want
Mm,
to. So in that part, it's all for you to get the scholarship. It depends on your presentation. It depends on how outspoken you are, how you can defend your stance.
mm,
So and the final assessment will be according to your scores in the interview and also overall assessment. So it's important. The interview is usually a very critical point where all the students are clamoring for a few spaces. So if you don't defend, if they find out that you don't know what you want, or you cannot answer simple questions, or you are inconsistent. So before
mm.
you go to the interview, you must know, you must read again, what have I written in my application? Because then it's from April, you did this application in maybe February, and then from February, March, April, May, June, you didn't get, so you could have forgotten, but then you go back. So what did I write? What was
Yeah.
my motivation? So you
Mm,
go back to read again. I advise, right? So these will help you. So for this, what do you need? You need to be diligent. First of all, in your previous academic background, ask yourself, am I diligent? Did I get good score? Because the most important thing actually in academics is not necessarily the scores you have. It
mm,
is those characteristics,
mm,
those, for example, diligence, determination, hard work, smart
mm,
work, collaboration, ability to network, ability to communicate. These
mm,
are the important characteristics of a good student. So if you're a top-notch student, first-class student, but you don't know how to manage human beings. That's why it's good for you to apply political positions, apply to departmental positions. You learn certain leadership skills because you write it in the application, right?
yeah.
Most students only focus on the academic part. That's the easiest part, if you ask me, because it's so difficult to put the academic with the political engagement, with the sport engagement, with this and with that. But if you can do it and still get a high score, then it means you are a tangible student. You are a student that we can give a scholarship to, and this student will not only impact academics, but will also impact sports. Will also impact, voluntary organizations. We also they want this too, right? So some students make the mistake, oh, when they give me the scholarship, I will just focus on my academics alone. You're not expected to focus on your academics alone. You should be
Wow.
able to do academics together with other voluntary, activities. There are many voluntary activities in Turkey. And then if you do something, they give you a certificate, you put it in the next application. Or because you want to apply again, you put that certificate, oh, I did this when I was in Turkey or when I was doing, you get, it's so important, it's very
Yes.
important. Turkey scholarship, unlike many other scholarships, because you also have, those you apply to the university, those ones are focused just on the research.
Mm,
So the difference is that maybe you're applying to a lecturer or a school that has funding, right? And then you apply to this lecturer. The lecturer is not interested in whether you did some voluntary organization. What the lecturer is interested in is, can you do the work? Can
mm.
you, what skills are you bringing to my work, to my research? If you are fit for it, we will give you the opportunity. They do an interview for you, and if you are fit, they give you the opportunity, right? But in government scholarships like this, they want an all-round student. They want a student that's good academically. They want a student that performs, voluntary activities. So you must see some, certificates that you've gotten from these voluntary activities.
Mhm,
Recent ones are encouraging. They're more like not old ones. Recent is better.
mm,
Conferences, are you attending conferences? Put the certificates there that you get. Online courses, are you taking online courses? Put the certificates there, right?
mm.
And so Antiquity Bursary is such that you don't need to apply directly to the university. You have 12 choices. So
Wow.
another mistake students make in application is in this part. So it is when during the application they start thinking of which university would I choose.
Mm.
No, I also made the error, right? but then yeah, so I'm telling you that you shouldn't make the error. Try to look into the university because universities, of course, there are some low-ranking universities, high-ranking universities. Also,
Mm.
there are some universities that have better for your course than other universities. So
Yeah.
going to the university, if you are thinking of applying for Türkiye Bursları, look at the universities, that's good for you. Go to their website, look at the requirements, because the requirements for those universities must match what you bring in. If it doesn't match, the requirements for the university, they always advise, even in the Turkey Bursary application, that you should ensure that the requirements in university are met also. So what you should do is you are the one who will choose these universities. You are not applying to the universities, but you are making sure that your documents and what the requirements the universities want are similar, so
Mm.
that they can take you and assess your sense, because this is part of the expert evaluation, right?
Yeah.
So it's important that you put this. So how does what do you need to write, or what should stand you out from other students? One, your letter of intent is so important. And the one thing about Turkey Bursları application is that they give a strict number of words, so you don't have a time, or you don't have space to write and write and write. So you have just about 3,000 characters, and you
Mm.
must make sure that all your intention about why you want to study in Turkey, you must make sure that it fits into those 3,000 words, because the system will not delete the other ones after, right?
Mm.
It doesn't allow you to write. So it means you must plan ahead of time. Knowing this, you should plan ahead. Okay, whatever I'm writing should be in this, 3,000 words, so that you understand, not at the moment, because you just have 1 month, right? So you can. This is what I used for my masters. I think this one got me the scholarship, but trust me, the PhD letter of intent was much more deeper and much more, how would I put it? It was a little bit different, because I had to, change some important details.
Mm.
But this I used for my masters, and here you can see that I wrote the reason why I was writing, why I
Mm.
was writing, why I had keen interest in agricultural sciences. So
Yeah.
where it started from, what were the things I had done before, and how did it, inform my knowledge, or inform my decision to study what I wanted to, or what I was
Mm.
applying for, right? And what were plans, for the future, right? You can see there. I think I wrote there that I am sure that the knowledge I shall receive in the master's program in agriculture will be applied in the future. I intend to begin my work on my PhD. This will help, further deepen my knowledge and offer me the platform for more research work. I see myself as a full-time researcher with the ability to do research of the highest quality, blah blah blah, and the rest. So you can see that your research
Mm.
intention should match also with, what you
Mm.
really have in
Mm.
your mind. You also look at this. So you shouldn't write things that you cannot. They know you can't do it, because I want to be this. Can you do it? That is the idea. So write things that are feasible to be done. Write things. You're not. They are not looking for uh, too much big words. They're not
Mm-hmm.
looking for too many big words. They're looking for, things that you are able to do. Things that you're able to do. Also, I advise that when you're writing your research, especially for masters, there's a part where you say writing a proposal is optional for masters. Please write it, even though it's optional.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when a lot of students are applying for the application, they're applying, and then you have students that don't write the proposal, and then you have students that write proposal. Which one will you take?
Yes.
If I ask you, I don't know. So just think about it yourself. So who will? It's optional for masters. Those who are applying for masters, it's actually optional for them. But if you're applying for PhD, you must write a research proposal here.
Yeah.
So imagine you're applying for masters, and then they said to you it's optional, and then you agree that it's optional, and you say, oh, let me not bother myself. Let me just continue and feel when it is time to weed out, because imagine a lot of applications, 120,000. So when it's time to weed out, they'll just, okay, those that are applied for, those that don't apply, those that didn't write, let's see which ones are better. You
Hmm.
understand? So I always
Yeah.
advise students should write. And so that means you must have thought about it in whatever field of study that you want to carry out. Please try to have something in hand that you would like to work upon, especially in the science related disciplines. Try to have a focal point or research focal point. You can see I said I wanted to be a researcher. I said I wanted
Hmm.
to be in the letter of intent. I didn't write a proposal. How does that align? Do you understand? How does it align?
Yeah.
It's as if you are getting
Hmm.
there. So you want to be a researcher, and then they put research, but it's optional. Then you say, okay, as a researcher, it doesn't tell much about someone who actually has intention to do research. Yeah, I think you should put something
Hmm.
there, and then these are the things you should put. Your subject of study. I don't know if you don't know how to write a research proposal. I think it's very good you start learning how to do that. I think that was one of the things we were lacking in the beginning part. I understand a lot of students also, have these issues. They don't know how to write research proposals. I also learned myself,
Hmm.
unfortunately. I also learned by listening to others, going on other webinars that teach about how to write proposals. And also in the course of my master's work, I had to. So I advise that if you don't know how to, you can do online
Hmm.
courses, Coursera, Udemy, how to write research proposal, or even normal YouTube. It's
Yeah.
there. I think nowadays information is easily
Exactly.
accessible. You don't need to wait. You don't need to wait for someone to tell you
Hmm.
that's how to write a research proposal. Write it, and you can even network with one or two scholars, international scholars, local scholars. Those that are in PhD in your universities. How do you write this proposal? What were the challenges? Ask them
Hmm.
questions. They will assist you. They will assist you because it's important for application, not just in Türkiye Bursları, but for even other scholarship applications. You need to write a proposal, most important applicants. So, and then work experience, if you have work experience, please put it down. It's important because
Hmm.
it's also a kind of edge you have over someone who didn't have at all, right?
Yeah.
Because they're looking for the best. They're looking for the best candidate.
Hmm.
Imagine looking for the best candidate and you didn't put anything in research, sorry, in the work experience. And then someone who has a good research like you also put work experience. Who will you take? So it's a question for,
Yeah.
for you to think about. Yeah, so work experience is important for you. Even as small as internship work that put it there. Don't think, oh, I just did work for 1 month or 2 months, and so I won't put it there. It's not a valuable work. It is valuable, my dear. It is valuable, right? Your youth service, put it there.
Hmm.
It's important. And then you also have voluntary activities. Students often overlook voluntary activities, but I think nowadays it is getting a lot more traction. Please
Yeah.
try as possible to join any NGO, joining their work. They give certificates for joining sporting
Hmm.
activities. If you are to volunteer in sporting activities, maybe national sporting activities, international sporting activities, or university sporting activities, as someone who helps, or even conferences, please put it there. Okay. Also,
Yeah.
conference attendance is also important. As a researcher, someone who wants to be in research or academia, and you don't attend conference, even if it is an online conference that is free of charge, then doesn't show, especially at this time in the world
Hmm.
now, doesn't show that you are serious about, you know. So that's why it's quite different from like I said, government scholarships like this want all-round students. So you have to put in all the effort to touch every area,
Yeah.
right? To touch every area. So and then finally, you must have a good, like I mentioned earlier, recommendation
Mm.
from professors, from doctors. It's important, right?
Yeah.
So this, I think, if you get all these tools beforehand, not on January 20, I think it starts in January 20th, in the third week of January. Usually for years, that's been like this. I don't think it will change next year, but then look out, look out for for the adverts at any time,
Mm.
right? But
Yeah.
not on January 20, then you start thinking about applying for scholarship and start thinking about, oh, who will I ask a recommendation letter from and
Mhm.
all that. They can be able to prepare for you a very award-winning, you know, recommendation letter. You ask them beforehand your
Oh, yeah.
intention.
Yes.
It is better. You
Of
prepare
course.
your mind. I think someone who is prepared, for the application will put in a better application than
Sure.
someone who just starts applying at the moment when the scholarship opens.
Mm.
And this is why
Very
I
true.
do this at this time. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so, so much. I mean, I think you all can see when a PhD's fellow come here, they teach you, they teach you, and you've taken us through all the section, and sincerely, if anyone takes it up, they will understand what they should do and how to really position. And just standing on this, the last point you raised now, that you have to start preparing forward. And I think for me, during because I now coach aspiring people, even international ones, I would still get to some of those questions that is in my heart around after you even get the scholarship. That's not the end, right? So for aspiring ones, it is not, at the heart. For instance, people want to study, I'm sorry, apply for Erasmus right now. Erasmus has opened, maybe some has opened in September, some has in October, some in November. We are in
Yes.
ending of this November right now. Some will close maybe 10th of December. Different, Erasmus has also different programs like
Different
that. So
timelines.
exactly,
Different
and
programs.
different timeline too. And you are just reaching out that you want to apply now. There's a
Yeah,
lot
it's
of
not good.
positioning that needs to be done. There's a lot of things you need to do before. Recommendation is there, but it's even just half of it. Right now, and all because where we are, when we are in 2021, 2022, it is rare. Not many people were applying. Now,
Aware.
for
Yeah, I'm
5,000
aware.
that you say that they will even pick maybe 50 in Nigeria or so. More
Yeah.
than thousands of people will apply for a position of 50. So it is more getting
Yeah.
more and more competitive. And to stand out,
Yeah.
you really need to build a stellar portfolio. Like what you said, conferences, even if you are just co-writing or co-authoring a research,
Co-authoring
exactly,
a research paper.
a research
Yeah.
paper.
So
A lot of
important. I
things
mentioned
can't
it. I
get
mentioned it
started.
now.
So
Please try. Also
each of
try
those,
to. Yeah. Also trying to publish your research work in a journal, no matter what. Even if it's attending a
even
conference,
if it's a
is
working
important.
paper,
Work paper. Yes,
like just
it's
do something,
important.
because it shows how ready you are. It's not just because you want to live.
Yes.
And I think that's the mindset me I'm working towards in people, everyone I work with now. It's not because you just want to live.
Yeah.
What are you looking to
Mhm.
really contribute, right? And it will show
Yes.
in your proof.
Yes.
When because I have a framework that I use for everyone who want to write SOP now. And when I look through what you wrote, it still kind of follow. You can't say, because a lot of things you said in your vision, like your long-term goal, it has to follow. We have to be able to see, is this achievable? And it's not because of how grand
Actually,
or
yeah.
how big it is also dependent on what you've done before. So you want to tell me
Before.
that
Yes,
you
exactly.
you want to be a researcher, a full-time researcher, and you've not written any academic paper,
Even one.
even one,
Yeah.
right? You even if that thing is grand, you want to open the next big social media or something, have you built even an MVP of something before? It is just showing
Yeah, very
us,
true.
it is you
Yeah,
are not
little
telling us
bit.
you have a potential. You are showing
Yes.
us, right? And that is what you write. I mean, the framework is just your why, which you showed, and then leading to a purpose or a conviction about something. And because of this, you
Yes.
now have proofs that show us
Yes.
that it's true, something is driving this man,
Yes.
right?
Very
And
true.
then later on, you now say, this is why I need the whether it is the
Scholarship
scholarship
funding.
because of where I'm going, which is what you want to
Yes.
be on. So simple. But
Yeah.
a lot of work has to be done on that proof, and that's why in fact, when I want to coach someone, I need 6 months to be able to say,
Yeah.
what are you doing? And then when you are done, you are really positioned. You are not a beggar. You are a value.
Yes.
You will also see
Yeah,
that value.
on this point, yeah, on this point, you just make, some people think that all the scholarships are need-based scholarship. No, we have very few need-based scholarship, and even those
Thank you.
need-based scholarships still look for academic excellence, right? They still look for academic excellence. So even the need-based scholarship, like Gill scholarship, I don't know, this Commonwealth, I don't know if they are need-based or so, but we have the ones for need-based too. So you still need
Yeah.
academic excellence and all that, even when but then scholarships like Türkiye Bursları, scholarships like Erasmus, they are not need based. They are focused on merit. That's
Mm-hmm.
why they're looking for the top ones, the top students. So even if you are among the top 90 students, and then the amount of the quota is not is more than what they want, they will reduce it to the top 95%. If it's not, they will reduce it to the top 97, right?
Yeah.
So in the minimum requirement, let's say minimum requirement, top 90. But then there are
Mm.
so many people applying. So it's a merit scholarship, not a need based. So they will remove those from, yeah, you get.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so true. I mean, I wanted to talk about a lot about. We have just 3 minutes left, but before you go, because he has another engagement today, and maybe I can
Well,
quickly beg you that maybe we might have to have part two, because I still want you to
okay.
show that after the scholarship, that's not the end, right? Um,
Yes, yes.
what are some of the ways to actually stand and maximize the period abroad? I will still want to know your stuff, but
Okay.
I don't want to flag this. Maybe we'll have part two. If not, anytime you
Well,
are.
if there's still time for the on air, I can spare extra 10 minutes. It's not a
Okay.
problem for me.
Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
so I can
Awesome.
still talk about it.
Yeah.
So
Please.
yeah, you have a scholarship already. That's where the work starts actually. Like I said
Mm.
in the beginning, when something is given to you,
Yeah.
much more is expected. No, right? So that's where the real work starts, because you said you wanted to do something. So, like you
Mm.
said, it's not about job buying. I think some people have this idea. I didn't have this idea of job because I already had, before I even came to Turkey, I had a master's, which was also a scholarship.
Yeah.
Right? So, even if I didn't have this one, I would be doing something meaningful with my life anywhere I am. Right? So, important is your mindset. Your
Mm.
mindset is that's the Nigerian spirit I'm talking about. Is that of excellence, not that of I'm looking for a way out. I'm looking for how to get rich. I'm looking for how to get this quick, quick, quick, quick. No, yes, everyone wants money.
Mm.
Your reward, the reward for your hard work is going. You will see it. It's money is like or reward is like It's like it's not the main thing. It comes with the hard work. It comes with the smart work. If you do
Mm.
it, definitely you will have this, right? But then, like I said, before you or when you start the scholarship in Turkey, for example, you look
Mm.
at the environment that you're in. What are the opportunities that I can maximize? What are the, if you are going to Canada, for example, what are the opportunities in Canada?
Mm.
What are the, if you're in Turkey, what are the opportunities in Turkey? I got to know, oh, that there is Erasmus, oh, European Union funds, this in Turkey. I was thinking, oh, there's nothing like Erasmus in Turkey. I never heard about Erasmus before I came. I didn't know this, but now I'm telling you, oh, there's Erasmus. In fact,
Mm.
some students end up applying for another, not Erasmus plus, Erasmus itself, while they're in
Mm.
Turkey, to go to
Wow.
Europe for study. Mhm. So it depends on you entirely. So the Erasmus Plus programs are embedded in university. Every student can apply for it, but there are requirements actually. Like you have to be a top student in your department. You have to be because you're competing with both the university students and also the department students, right? Your English language level must be top notch, right?
Yeah.
Your scores must be top. Imagine I'm studying in Turkish and I'm
Mm.
competing with someone who is studying in Turkish, who is a Turkish student, right? It's so difficult because I have to do more reading. I have to understand it more than someone. I have to write my exams in Turkish, right?
Mm.
But now I'm used to it. So I just it's it's still difficult, but I have to. It's I see the advantageous part of it, not the challenging part of it. Right, the
Mm.
advantageous part of it that your mind is more open, you're learning a new language. I won't go there. It is usually the deterrent for many students. Oh, I don't want to
Yeah.
learn a new language. I don't have energy for learning a new language. But that first year, you're going to learn a new language. You can use it to make networking. You can use it to know Turkey. I told you Turkey is so beautiful. You can go to different places in Turkey and know Turkey. It's
Yeah.
free language course. Now it's about 50,000 to 70,000 Turkish lira for you to
Wow.
learn up to B1. And they're giving you for free, right?
Mm.
So it's but when you go to other countries in Europe that require before you even apply for any permanent, maybe you want to do citizenship or something after some years, you must know their language, not
Sure.
only the English language, right? You must know if you're in Italy, you must know English also, and you must know Italian, right?
Yeah.
You want to apply for any serious engagement with the country, so it's
Mm.
important for you. It's important for you. So knowing, studying, asking questions. Okay, going to the university website. What are the
Mm.
opportunities? Because it's there in the university website.
Yeah.
Okay, in Turkey, Bursları alone, do they give only fund? Like I said, no. They give. You have application for national internship programs.
Mm-hmm.
Not only for Erasmus internship, you can also have national internship programs. You apply during the time. You also have funding for research. Now, Turkey's scholarship is such that you are not attached to a particular. You're just writing a research proposal. It doesn't mean that you do that research proposal,
Mm.
right? So it means that when you go to the university after your 1 year of studying the language, and then you are in the university with approved supervisor, you and the supervisor can write a research proposal. Maybe if you want to do what you wrote, you can write a research proposal for the research funding bodies like TÜBİTAK, like TÜSEP, like
Mm.
so we also have research funding bodies that give extra money for research. Turkey government is giving you for study, just go to study, go to class. But then you obviously, as a master student or as a PhD student, you need to do research for your project. You can apply to these funding bodies and they
Mm.
can give you money for your research, and they also give salary or they say boost scholarship for the student working on those research,
Mm-hmm.
right? And different funding bodies have different scholarships and different monies attached to different programs that you apply for, like funding programs, right?
Mm.
Also, we also have the University Research Commission. So if you don't win those ones, you are capable of winning the one from the university. And
Mm.
for I think for masters now, I don't know, but for PhD, it's about 13,500 Turkish liras for a month per month for a doctoral student. And Turkish government is giving you 9,000 Turkish lira. It's everywhere in the internet. Not as a Turkish government scholar, but you are getting 13,500. The least, this is the least amount. So if you
Mm.
add those ones as a government scholarship and you add all the, you get almost as equal to someone, maybe not equal, but almost as equal to someone in maybe a Canada or North. So it means that you have to know about the opportunities first. You
Mm.
have to maximize the opportunities. Let's
Yeah.
assume you have funding from the BAC project. We call it University BAC, Bilimsel Araştırma Projesi, or like the university project funding body, or you get from TÜBİTAK. TÜBİTAK gives for doctoral students maybe up to 27,000 Turkish lira. For master students, I think it's about 15,000 Turkish liras. So you even get more money from this for if your research is approved or
Wow.
accepted for.
And one does
Yes,
not affect the others.
no, your government scholarship continues.
Wow.
doesn't affect your research funding, right? So if
Interesting.
you add both of them together, you have so, but then you have to present a
Yeah.
research. You have to make sure this, that's you have to work together with your supervisor to make sure this happens for you. And then
Mm.
imagine you now have Erasmus Plus. Erasmus gives you funding to travel. I didn't use one. In fact, in all my academic journey, in all my academic, I've not used one naira of my money. My parents never give me one naira. In fact, I'm the one to give to them. They never
Yeah.
give me one naira, starting from the flight ticket.
Mm.
The only time my parents assisted me now, which always grateful for, was to get my international passport. Try
Mm-hmm.
to do my initial legalization of my documents in Nigeria, Ministry of Education. And you obviously need all those ones. The scholarship doesn't do that for you, but
Sure.
the visa, everything, free of charge. They do
Mm.
it for you. So
Mm.
you must know what's coming now. What are the other opportunities I can get? Because only Turkey Bursları, most students know it's kind of when it comes, it's comprehensive, but the money is not as much as those. It's not a new thing today. It's not as much as those in America or this thing. Because they're not giving you because of research. They're only giving you to. You're just going to class. Idea,
Yeah.
you just get to class. They're not giving you for making any research or giving. But then when you go to class, you're going to expect to do research. So look
Mm.
for how do I get a funded research?
Mm.
Some professors already have, research funding. So just okay, I will write your, we'll include you in the research, and then we paid from the research. It's
Mm.
possible. So if you're lucky enough to find a lecturer already having, I'm just looking for students because the government the scholarship is not like other ones that, like Europe and America, that the lecturers themselves find the students. No,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
So they give you the university, and then you're in the university, and then you have to have a lecturer. So usually
Mm.
it's a new student, so you have to write a new project, right?
Yeah.
So unless
Yeah.
you've worked before with the lecturer, and then maybe you
Mm.
can do that. So at the end
Awesome.
of the day, you have other opportunities,
Yeah.
even in Turkey, that you can maximize, and then you can be at par with any other student from other countries. That if you think the amount you're getting is too little for you,
Mm.
it's a low risk. I would
Yeah.
say it's a low risk because you don't need to think. All you need to do is to go to class, study, get good grades, and graduate.
Mm. Mm.
And
Awesome.
that's what
I
you need.
like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
because
imagine you're going for Erasmus, you get also funding for Erasmus to travel. I think about
Mhm.
€700 or €650
Around-
depending on the country,
yeah.
and then you go and you come back. You're
Yeah.
being funded for that. That's extra money for you also.
Yes. Yes. Yes. Wow. So thank you so much for that. Yeah, because of our time, I think we will have to go because I don't want to stretch it, especially as you said you have another engagement. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
Okay.
for coming today. Um, yes, yes. I would have loved other questions, but we'll stop there. And like I want to also share the last time I shared that, okay, my book, The 1% Extraordinary Scholar, is in the pipeline. So of course I will send to you to just to see
Okay.
your thoughts on it and all. And yeah, actually, right now we are on the what's it called? We are looking for is a context for Nigerian designer or any designer from all over the world anyway to design the cover for that book and divine the movement. So we have a cash prize and of course the book the winner will have to be there. The design will be used and all. So yes, this is to everyone actually watching. If you know a designer that could do something spectacular, you can share with them. The link is on my social media. Oh my God, we have some background noise. But yes, that is it. But I just want to thank you so much, Godswill, for coming around today for the wealth of knowledge you've shared and yes, it's actually so good. What you've shared with us, and everyone that actually look can say, okay, this is where I am, and this is what I want to do, and how I can get there. So yes,
Yeah.
without further ado, let me just release you, right now, and you can
Okay.
go. So thank you so much.
Okay.
We are
Thank
saying
you very much. Thank you very
Yes,
much for joining. I hope you have a great application season, and I hope
yes.
you have a good scholarship for yourself, at least for this year. Yeah, thank you very
Amen.
much.
Thank you. Thank you. If we have any question, I will just chat to you if we have and post it
Yeah,
here.
please,
And
you can always, you can, my social media handle is my LinkedIn. You can always reach me on LinkedIn. I don't have a problem. I will answer you as soon as possible. I like to quickly answer any questions as much as possible because I have other things to do. But then I will answer you. Definitely, I will answer you. Okay, so you can send me a message on LinkedIn. You can send me a message on Instagram. You can send me a message on WhatsApp if you have
yeah,
my
please
number.
can you
But generally,
can you just
LinkedIn.
talk about the LinkedIn and do and then the
Yeah.
Instagram where they can get you?
LinkedIn. If you type my name, Godswill Iwuchukwu, you will always find
Yeah.
me.
Okay.
You will see my picture there. I don't think there are many Godswill Iwuchukwus. So if you type my name, Godswill Iwuchukwu, you will see, or you just type the Godswill Iwuchukwu, Türkiye Bursları or something to streamline the search. Or even on Google, just type Godswill Iwuchukwu. You will see everything
Exactly.
about me. Yeah,
Exactly.
just
Exactly.
try Godswill Iwuchukwu. You will see everything about all my research papers, review papers. You will see them. So you can always reach me in any of the platforms that you find. Even my Instagram is there.
Of course.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Ciao, ciao. Thank you so much
See
for
you.
calling.
Bye.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for
Bye.
having me. Bye.
You're welcome. Yes. All right. Before I just dismiss everyone, thank you so much for joining and even standing close to the end. Right. Thank you again to Godswill for being here. The journey is a powerful example that of what is possible when preparation actually meets opportunity, and that's one thing I want to show. Your journey is not peculiar to you. You can learn from everyone listening, and those that will still listen. Don't be deterred. Don't because of you can listen, you got what he said. Don't because you got rejection the first time, you're not applying again. No. We he says something that I love. I couldn't react to it. He says something around growing tough skin to rejection. There are some application you will make, even though it seems as if you are not eligible. You just do your best in application, of course. Going through a lot of and making sure rather that you actually put in your best in applying. But don't let you be the judge that, oh, they won't take me. Let them tell you they are not taking you, right? And then you look you apply for another thing. You just or you even reapply again, maybe after you make your application better. But don't be the judge of saying, I'm not eligible and I will not apply. No. Growth of skin to rejection. In our community, we say rejection is just a data point. It's just a data that, oh, I'm not there yet, right? And I need to do more. So yes, for people that still want to apply, we are this is still ending of November. That want to apply for Erasmus. Make sure you get the SOP framework I was talking about. You can reach out to me maybe on Instagram. Yes, it will be good. And for the book that is coming on, it is the 1% Extraordinary Scholar: How to Know Your Purpose and Get Funded for It. That's the title. So if you want to also be among the first people that will read it, you can reach out to me on Instagram and I will let you know. And if you know a designer that can design, we have 50K prize for the person, and of course they gain global exposure. We will also make sure we for everyone that participates, showcase them on our social media platforms. And of course, it will also be part of their portfolio credit as well. So this is where we draw the curtain for this podcast episode today. And thank you so much for joining. If you still have any question, please leave them. uh, Leave them in the comment section. I will try as much as possible to throw them to God's will if needed, or answer them myself. So thank you so much. Ciao, ciao, ciao. Enjoy the rest of the